And looks like we are underway. Got an early divergence. Got the map in the sanctuary and 10 arrows in Link's house, so nothing much there.
Nope, that early map does mean the Dark Cross room is much more likely to be important.
Mm-hmm.
We are not seeing friendly yet. Oh, there we go. There's a tree pole enemy.
Yep, that blue beetle will certainly be taken care of. And fairy tree pole, that is very interesting to see. Especially if we get early swagnet, that means that there's an easy way to get, if you want to put fairies in those bottles. Old man having $50, giving away the family life savings.
Only some blue rupee in the forest so far, and a sword!
We got
right
French...
next to the old man.
Yeah, French vanilla sword. And with that, I think we're going to see saltyphry go into the escape sequence. We got a map check on Julloninja's side. I saw 2 pendants, a green pendant at Desert, and I think an Eastern was a pendant. And then I think I also saw a 5-6 crystal at Hera.
Yes, this is an old dungeon seed, so we need all of those pendants regardless.
Mm-hmm.
It's all he's just going to take that sword and go for the escape.
Mm-hmm. And continuing with the French vanilla-ness of this Hyrule Castle, we got Boomerang as well.
Meanwhile, Jullon gonna show us what's in Cat today. Except he doesn't have bombs, but he does have a red cane.
He's got a red cane, and now he's got a whole bunch of money to buy bombs. Bottle vendor is selling glass pearls today as opposed to glass bottles.
It's certainly one piece of Dark Lord access. That said, I can guarantee this is an Agaseed.
Yeah, we actually have a couple pieces. Well, that sword would point in the direction of Aga, but there's still plenty of it, and we got a chicken clip on Ninja's end, and a power glove.
Well, one more glove or hammer, and he has Dark Lord access. Although he still has to kill Aga at some point.
Yeah, because with all dungeons, Aga 1 is still, unfortunately, on the table of bosses you gotta finish. Realistically, unless we need Aga 1 for Dark World access, these runners are probably going to hold off on Aga until probably right before Ganon. We got Powder on Lake Hylia Island.
And Bombos in the well. Of course, Jullon can't use it yet. Meanwhile, Salty isn't even heading towards CAC. He's got other plans. Of course, thanks to the Randomizer, this Eastern Palace may not be bow-locked.
That is true. Since, more likely than not, the Red Igors are not going to be in their place, and actually we do have the means to kill the Armos Knights with the Bloomerang. We also got Flippers in Sahasrala's closet.
And speaking of putting fairies in bottles, Jullon just picked up a fairy in a bottle.
Which means we will probably see a trek to Sick Kid before we leave Kakariko Village.
So I pity the person who ends up having to do a seed where they have to blue boomerang on those nights. If that's the boss there.
Especially because it takes 48 of those boomerang hits just to kill one Armos Knight.
And that could be Trimex in Eastern for all we know.
Exactly. I mean, this is Randomizer. I keep forgetting about that Chaos Spell Shuffle.
We could have 12 Trimexes, or what? No, 10. No, 13 against Tower.
Yeah, there's the three boss refights from the Light World bosses plus the 10. So yeah, there's 13 bosses that are shuffled. Alright, so saltyphry is now going to make his trek through Kakariko, while Ninja is going to be making his way to the back of Escape. And there's our Dark World access. We got Hammer in the back of Escape.
And we know there's something in that dark cross room. Although without a lamp, he's probably not feeling too about going there when he can go to the Dark World instead.
This is true.
And this will also likely delay him getting a sword for quite some time unless he manages to find one of the other ones.
Yeah, and realistically at this point, swords are important, but the thing is the only dungeon you could really complete at this point is Thieves Town, and you can handle that with the Hammer and the Cane of Samaria. Speaking of which, Thieves Town is the other pendant, and Turtle Rock is the other 5/6 crystal. We're going to see some early Hype Cave action today.
Alright. Let's see what number we got. So far, it's looking like a 0. But we have Ether Medallion. Oh, there's a sword.
I don't go with numbers. I just kind of give reactions, and I give that a meh.
That's pretty. I think the Ether Medallion and a sword together is actually a pretty good haul for Hype Cave.
Yeah, it's a good haul. Just it could be better. Could be better. Could also be worse. But
we won't truly know how good it is until we see what medallions we need.
Yep. But now we're going to most likely see mini Trolldorm Cave and basically the whole South Shore route.
Yeah. And actually, at this point in the game, I wouldn't say no to that hot container they found in there either.
This is true.
I mean, with Randomizer, you might just run into some of those hard-hitting enemies earlier than you're expecting to.
I mean, we've already seen Henoxes. That's not fun.
Yeah, but the fun doesn't start until we have Pokies. Here's our third sword of the game.
3 swords less than 10 minutes in.
So we are certainly not lacking in offensive power. But there's one of those Murderdactyls. Without that hot container, that thing could kill him in one hit.
And looks like we got just a bunch of ghouls in mini Trolldorm caves, so those sword beams will take care of them easily. Well, there's all the health you're looking for. 2 pieces of heart and a bottle of red potion.
Not too special, but actually, that's not even his first bottle. Definitely wasn't the Hype Cave. But there's saltyphry's second sword.
Yeah, he'll be tempered when saltyphry goes to the Hype Cave.
That's going to make a lot of bosses significantly faster.
Can the mitts... So, question in chat. Can the mitts be on pedestal? Yes, because Thieves Town, you only need the Power Glove to get to, and same with Eastern and Desert. So, in this layout we got, mitts, Titan's mitts can totally be on the pedestal.
That is correct. The only thing that could possibly block that would be if both Book of Menorah and the Mirror... Actually, if just the Book of Menorah is located behind Titan mitts.
Oh, yeah, that is right. There is that catch. Because if you need...
So it's a maybe right now. It could be there, but we have to find a book somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Given that we have an easy fairy tree pull and 2 bottles already, that bug net's not that bad of an item.
Yep, I would certainly concur with that. Especially to your point.
Wow, that is one dangerous South Shore. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Well, that's exactly the point I was about to get to about that swag net is this early on, you got a lot of enemies that can one or two hit KO you. Normally, I like to get blue potions because they get your health all the way refilled, but you may want to have some fairies for in case of unfortunate, untimely deaths.
Well, for right now, a fairy is a full health refill for both our players.
That is correct. I did forget about that. Both runners have done tree pulls, so both of them know that they can get fairies off of tree pulls. And we're going to see Ninja go right into Thieves Town, where we've apparently replaced all the Zyzeks with castle guards. We also have a water walking castle guard too. Don't you love Randomizer?
Well, mitts are no longer going to be on that pedestal because they're in Thieves Town.
That they are. And Waterfall of Wishing handing out green potions today.
That's it. The only item we can say for certain is not on the... Well, actually, there's no item we can say for certain is not on the pedestal. Any item can currently be there. Depending on the bosses of Eastern Desert and Thieves Town.
Yeah, the book would be the bow would be the only one normally. And we've got some fast footwear also in Thieves Town, which is certainly looking to be pretty loaded at this point. And just a heart piece on the Lake Hylia, or the Zora ledge. Got my ledges mixed up. Alright, so... As always, I like to say that there once was a fish named Zora, who gives you flippers in vanilla. Rando, he sucks, for 500 bucks. We did this stupid trek for an ice rod, so not stupid at all today.
I mean, it may be stupid, but at this point in the game, it's very nice feeling to have that thing. It always, no one likes going into a dungeon and Randomizer and saying, oh wait, hey, there's a Trimex in Thieves Town.
Yeah, an Randomizer where you can run into Trinex in any of these dungeons, having that ice rod is certainly very beneficial to have.
It's also a fast offensive option against the land molars. Which is a strategy I sometimes see players employ.
Yeah, the fire rod would certainly, if you have the choice, you certainly would want to use a fire rod. But if you got the ice rod, certainly makes sense.
Meanwhile, we got a fetch quest in Thieves' Town too with the shovel. This place is loaded.
Very nice. Alright, so saltyphry's about to get his tempered sword.
He's got to be feeling happy about that. And it looks like Salty's going to head towards Stumpy.
Yeah, probably also do the digging game. And we got a moth in Thieves' Town, so...
Well, that's pretty much a free boss without his conveyor belt and spikes that cause him to take no damage. This guy's a pushover.
Pretty much. Blink and you miss it. Mothula's down. $20 for your troubles. And the first pendant of the game, 17 minutes in. This is all dungeons, so they all matter today.
Yep, he's 1 out of 12.
I mean, honestly, this is why some of these runners are choosing to go all dungeons for their choices, because...
Sword number 4, we got the stick of butter.
Breaking news,
Less
we
than
have
20 minutes
confirmed
in the
butter.
game.
Wow. But anyway, you know, that pendant in Thieves' Town was loaded with Titan's Mitts, boots, and a fetch quest. And had, in a normal just defeat Ganon, most runners are going to try to avoid a pendant dungeon unless they have to run it. With this being all dungeons, it doesn't matter. They're running it no matter what. And so it makes it a more it makes this a more execution heavy seed.
And we have to go with you on that one. Although it does seem interesting to combine that with the Randomizer random factor.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a lot of games in chat saying that all 4 swords takes a bit of the fun out of the Randomizer. I mean, it does, but at the same time, like, we're still sitting at green mail 7 hearts. So yeah, we have a lot of offense right now, but if you're not careful, you can be dead in a hurry.
And there's still the boss factor. We still are unable to kill Trimax and August.
Yep.
Big swords, there's a tempered for Jullon. The butter sword is nice, but he won't be missing it.
Alright, so at this point... really kind of... We've got catfish we can check. We've got a bit of skullwoods we can do.
I think that Eastern would probably be the best play, and that might be where Jullon's heading.
Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe you dip Eastern, go as far as you can, back Death Warp out, and then head to the portal and then run into Pod, maybe?
Or at least he has his flippers. And Salty has his mitts. He's gonna get his boots real soon. Which puts our runners pretty close together. Although saltyphry does have the potential advantage of the ice rod.
You know what is one dungeon that is in play right now that, again, this is all dungeons, so you gotta run it at some point? Ice Palace.
Yep, that Bombos medallion, you can certainly get through it. And while it may logically require the hook shot to clear, I'm certain these players are both good enough to do the bomb jump.
Yeah, the Ice Palace logic is one of those things that every time I look at it or have a discussion about it, everyone just walks away confused because of whether the hook shot is required or not. All I know is that if there's a small key in one of the first few chests, then you're able to get to the hook shot locked portion.
Well, keep in mind that key logic assumes that you're using your keys in the worst possible way imaginable.
And we have our first hint. A unique item is in Paradox Cave, which frankly tells us absolutely nothing.
Yes, it tells us that you want to go to the cave that has 7 chests in it.
I think we do want to eventually end up there.
And more interesting, it might be Paradox Cave is worthless today.
Alright, big key, and it's in the compass chest, so we at least have one more item check we can do. And glove is in Thieves Town. Thanks, game. We already got it.
True, but that hint, it's totally reasonable to have come here before heading to Thieves Town, so that could have been a very helpful hint.
Yeah, it makes sense. Hulan using bombos to clear out. And of course, gets the small key that way. And he didn't go to the vanilla big key chest, so I don't know.
I'd have to see his menu to see if he... Because I missed if he got all 3 of the dungeon items, so...
Well, I mean... Well,
no, he has at least 1 dungeon item. He needs to go there.
Yeah, because the big key was in the compass chest. The compass was in the big key, was in the big chest. So yeah, you can YOLO Armos Knights, and maybe the item is there, but if you don't get it, then that would mean you would have to backtrack to the big key chest to get that last item. But we got a cold stare in Eastern Palace, so thankfully we have a Bombos medallion to thaw out the ice. And now just put cold stare in a corner, and unfortunately he escapes.
You gotta be careful. Cold stare hits like a truck with green mail on. And we are gonna use our fairy.
Yep. Now, Hulan did pick up a bottle of red potion, so he does have one more safety, but certainly needs to be careful. And he's got it on standby. Good idea. Alright, there's one puffball down. There's 2. And down he goes.
Meanwhile, Salty picking up his $100 hammer peg reward.
And there was the map at the boss, so that means that the vanilla big key chest has an item.
So will he make the gamble, or will he go in and grab it?
He's gambling.
We saw him sit there and think about it, and he's decided that it's probably nothing. Meanwhile, saltyphry picking up the blue mail in King's Tomb.
That will certainly get some necessary defense we've been talking about.
Yep, gold scale isn't so scary now for Salty. And it looks like Julloninja is heading towards the pod.
Certainly looks like it, and
without bow, we cannot clear.
No. Even with the Randomizer being active, you still need the bow to hit the Igor statue for the cutscene. And just $20 on the Lumberjack ledge, so even though we do still need to clear Aga 1 for all dungeons, we don't need the item that's there. So yes, we logically will still need the bow to finish off pod, even though the red mimics most likely will not be in there, in the locked trap rooms that they usually are. But we got a big key, so we can keep going into pod anyway.
And even without a key, Jullon does have a red potion. So if he wants, he can go ahead and grab those 2 chests over there. Even if it were bow locked. Well, we get $20 from the old man, but we can still grab an item on top of Spectacle Rock. And on top of our main inside.
Question in chat from Gamma Emerald. Does logic prohibit unneeded items from being locked behind themselves? No. All items must be accessible. There are certain keys, like the big key in Skullwoods, the big key in Swamp Palace, that can lock themselves in the chest, basically saying that you didn't need to get anything in there, but it's just the keys. It's not, items must be attainable.
No, unneeded boots cannot be on Lumberjack.
Because the thing is, you still technically need it for desert.
We also, in that same sense, you technically need it for Ganon's Tower as well. It's the other torch prize. While Jullon is doing a bombos on the bridge here.
And we're also seeing saltyphry after heading up to Death Mountain. Reading the logic of the items, he's heading for Ice Palace. Well, not heading, he's in.
There's 3 items in here for him to find. Although you may want to watch his magic meter. You start off with an early map, which is not what we want to see since we don't have a hook shot.
Nope. Thieves on Ice. Not a show I necessarily want to see. Okay, so the map and the compass are fire-locked in Mire, so we will not need to worry about the left side of Misery Mire. So, hey, we actually found a hint that is actually useful.
Oh, that's one of the best hints in the game. And one that might top that is the left side swamp hint.
Okay, that's just nasty right now, but thankfully the RNG brings the boss right to saltyphry to get that taken care of. However, Hullon is doing a very treacherous thing in Randomizer, which is risking dark rooms.
It's not that treacherous. He has bombos.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that would help a little bit. Still doesn't change the fact that dark rooms without the lamp can be treacherous because you have no idea what you might be running into. But yeah, when you got the Bombos medallion, you can certainly clear that out.
Yep, very few enemies can resist the might of Bombos.
Ooh, there's the flute.
Alright, so the Ice Palace has value. That'll give us our Mire access.
Actually,
well, our access to, to the swamp thing. We might need the Quake still.
Yeah, that is true. We also technically need Lamp for the Mire Dark Room. And again, treachery of Dark Rooms and Randomizer, even with Bombos medallions.
A lot of walking Lionels there.
Hullon's just taking a beating right now. Saltyphry's also on one heart and needs to be careful. Oh!
I believe he has a bottled fairy.
You would be correct in that assumption.
Saltyphry is going to head towards the Ice Palace boss. Let's see who we got today. Although I don't believe he's found all 3 items.
No, I imagine the boss has the 3rd item because I think he's checked everything else.
Well, no, we haven't checked the big chest.
Oh, I missed that. But it's a Helmasaur at the bottom of Ice Palace today, so with that hammer and bombs, we're certainly able to finish this off.
Meanwhile, Jullon is grabbing his ice rod.
And there's a small key, so
Salty wants all the items, he has to go back in. Although with that flute, he may be tempted to just go and activate it and leave Ice Palace in the dust.
but he knows there's a third item in there, and he's heading back for it.
Yep, John's gonna get his stick of butter real soon. So while saltyphry is done to get that item and John clears the back of escape, we have some time to answer any questions if Chet has anything they are currently unclear about, given the tournament or the particular modes in this race.
What's interesting at this point is now going over the Rolodex. I gotta think Myers probably gotta be coming up soon. Or there's the bow. That works. That works.
Saltyphry is awarded for coming back in here. The required item. So I believe there's still even more in here to get. We still have this chest up here, there's a chest below here, and there's the big chest. He probably just went and killed the Cold Stare boss room because he's going to have to leave the dungeon to come back in anyways, given his lack of hookshot. That's it. I don't think that bow is in logic right now. I could be mistaken, though.
I don't remember where a lot of the items were. I just remember... Well, okay, we had a key... Alright, we had a key on the boss, and we had... With having Cane of Samaria accessible... I'm just gonna say... Maybe, possibly, kinda... I really don't know.
And we are going to see the flute activated, which to me suggests that we're heading down towards the Mire area to check out the shed and see what medallion we need.
Yep. But before we do that, we have to honor Hyrule first, and as most people in the Zelda Randomizer community know, we do that with the playing of the National Swag Deck Anthem. And the Hawk's about to rock, and we salute you. And just like you predicted, we're heading to Mire.
Meanwhile, Julloninja to give us our first look at Skull Woods. There's 2 items spread out. They can be in any one of the 3 parts of the dungeon.
Alright, we got Vanilla Ether to get into Mire. Unfortunately, we have a thief, so no chance of a bird toss today.
So far, we got 2 duds in Skullwoods. Meanwhile, we also have 2 items available in Misery Mire. Now, the boss isn't in logic without the lamp. And we know that the 2 other fire-locked items are garbage. So there's at least one item in here that he can get. And if he's willing to brave the Randomizer Misery Mire Darkroom, he could clear the whole thing and be done with this place.
Mm-hmm. We also found some literacy in Skullwoods on Julloninja's side, so desert is accessible but not completable without a fire source. And, well, there's the mirror, so that also can get you into desert.
Yep, that's our Mire value. Still can't clear it, though, without that fire source. But now when we're done in here, we can go and check Checkerboard Cave. Very convenient.
And saltyphry is going to go ahead and YOLO the boss. Now, we did see that hint that we did not... that nothing of value was on the left side.
Yes, do we see the second item in here?
I only saw the mirror. He's probably going to YOLO... since he's going to YOLO the boss... and then we're going to see, and then I imagine if the second item isn't there, he'll head back in. But just 20 bucks from the shovel spot.
Salty better watch his health.
Yeah, he's already used the 1 fairy, so he should have that red magic, or the red potion. So far, so good.
Like I said, this is really bold doing this Randomizer when you're 1 hit from death.
Meanwhile, Julloninja's heading into Ice Palace will get his bow and flute. Alright, saltyphry has made it through the dark room. Alright, what boss do we have today?
Trimax!
Which means bye!
And we'll go ahead and take a death heal. Well, it's a good thing they picked up that ice rod, though.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's possible that Julloninja may not grab the bow, because we already saw him orphan 1 dungeon item at this point.
That would be very unfortunate if he decides to do that.
It would. It would be a clear lesson as to the danger of orphaning a dungeon item. Salty, realizing he does not have a small key, which means that there will be a small key inside of this big chest. If I'm correct about my Misery Mayo key logic.
Gotta think Saltyphry probably heads for desert after this.
Yeah, but maybe a quick detour in the checkerboard cave first. With that small key, I believe the last item is on Trimax.
Which...
No, there is one chest over here we can check. We can check one more chest.
Yep.
So it's at 50-50.
And it's triple bombs.
So we'll just either come here in go mode and smash Trimax real fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are seeing the desert play on Saltyphry's side. Heart piece on the desert ledge, so I ain't gotta worry about that. You know, at this point, we're just a fire source from being able to pull the pedestal. Ooh!
That is most unfortunate.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one thing about Randomizer is, yeah, sometimes you get wall mastered in a very inconvenient place.
That's literally on.
Yeah, the Wallmaster did kill the music. That is, again, we're playing with a game that is almost 30 years old, and yeah, has some bugs, especially when we're using the version 1.0.
And then we're messing with it.
All right, we got a shroom in checkerboard cave.
Wow, Jullon, finishing the boss of Ice Palace. Will he decide to go back into this dungeon?
Yeah, I think Saltyphry forgetting that he didn't have a fire source, and Julon's forgetting the
missing that
bow.
bow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be costly.
The one thing about that is probably, with this being Randomizer, the one item that will be the most trolly, because you literally only need it to finish pod. Like, you've got Butter Sword, you can do Silverless Ganon no problem. You can clear every other dungeon right now without that bow. So it is probably going to be a long time before Julon goes back to Ice Palace.
Yeah, it would take it would take something amazing being locked by to cause an early Ice Palace revisit.
Should point out, 53 minutes in, as we're starting to see these runners double back on their different locations, that this is a good time to remind you that they are, in fact, putting on a great show for us tonight. So, if you would feel so inclined, I'm sure Julloninja and Saltyphry would appreciate your follows on Twitch. They're certainly deserving of them tonight.
That they are. We are seeing Salty taking that bow and going straight into the Palace of Darkness.
Which is unfortunately the one dungeon that still needs the bow and Randomizer, and with Julon orphaning that in Ice Palace, that could cause some problems. Although now that I'm looking at it, we could probably start Hera, but without a fire source, we can't be for certain that we can finish it. Turtle Rock we can get in if we have the right medallion, but fire source, fire rod preventing us from full clearing. Swamp, we still need the hook shot, so if you wanted to do the front half, you could. So I would say,
With Mira, we can go to Paradox Cave.
yeah, I would be... I think we're going to have to do a Death Mountain ascent here soon. Alright, we got simultaneous dark rooms occurring on both ends. Especially an Randomizer. Much braver souls than I am, even though they do have a way to clear out the room with the Bombos Medallion.
Oh, so if I just did the easy dark room, now I get to do the fun one.
Fun is a very subjective term, I would say.
Fun for our viewers.
This is true.
Meanwhile, Jullona is going to get a very unfortunate surprise at the end of his darkroom excursion.
Yeah, there's going to be a three-headed turtle that kind of needs a magical rod of fire to be able to finish, and yeah, you're coming back.
Someone in chat asking what the unique item in Paradox Cave could be. It could be the hook shot, it could be the fire rod, the keep burner, the cane of burner, or the cape. Also, quick medallion, or red meringue. So there's still plenty of options for that Paradox Cave unique item.
We also still haven't seen the silver arrows yet.
That is true.
Alright, we're finally going to get a little bit of new information as saltyphry is heading for the boss of Pod.
So saltyphry about to do some more courageous dark rooming. See, Doug's his potion to fill up his magic meter so we can go ahead and just hopefully bombos out most of it.
Well, that is a certainly much easier room in the dark.
That's one of the scariest rooms in the whole game, and non-Randomizer dark.
Kind of also helps that all those enemies were lighting up in the dark to begin with. And we have a seven-eyed troll dorm in the Helmstar room. Blink and you miss it, and that mutant troll dorm is dead for a piece of heart.
So the bow is not hiding a special item behind it.
It appears not to.
At this point, I'm really thinking Paradox Cave and all of East Death Mountain, for that matter, is the play.
Is that a bug or a feature from Super Malmo World? That is what happens when you try to randomize enemies in a game that is almost 30 years old.
Chat claiming that the multi-eyed Chordons are a feature, and I have.
I'm sorry, I missed that. What'd you say?
I said the chat is claiming that multiple eyes in a Moldorm is a feature, not a bug, and I have to agree with them.
Yeah. Being a developer, sometimes features are bugs and bugs are features. What can I say?
It looks like Jullon is going to give us our first look at some of the Death Mountain stuff, including using his Book of Medora. So I don't believe saltyphry has this. This could be good, but it's 10 arrows.
The other thing we're about to find out is that Jullon also did not get the third item in Eastern, which is in the vanilla big key chest. So saltyphry is about to show us if that is actually of importance also.
Our first arrow item is just some rupees. And Hera is fire locked.
Alright. Interesting that saltyphry takes a health refill here. But 20 bucks, so Jullon is at least safe in Eastern.
So he's going to go ahead and clear up this boss. He has the magic meter to open up Cold Stare.
Alright, time to see what items await us in Death Mountain. First up is Spiral Cave. Just some bones. Alright. Well, while Jullon is checking Paradox Cave, you get the two items here, which is Quake Medallion and Fire Rod. But blink and you miss it, saltyphry puts Cold Stare in a corner and takes him out. Well, that's Fire Rod was certainly the unique item that the hint was talking about in Paradox Cave.
Well, maybe the Quake Medallion. Either way, we got it. It also means that while we're up here, we can clear out all of Tudor so long as we're not against August. It looks like saltyphry is going to be getting his Fire Rod very soon.
Yep, and Jullon adeptly using the mirror to check Paradox Cave and Super Bunny Cave at the same time. So we're going to get those two checks as well.
Now, we can still get one chest here in Hookshot Cave by bonking across.
Mm-hmm. But that Tektite not playing nice.
Just 20 rupees. Although we haven't... Have we seen what's on the floating island?
Yeah, it wasn't anything of importance. We are about to see that Quake Medallion was, in fact, what you needed for Turtle Rock, so we got vanilla medallions today.
Yep, all 3 medallions getting their use.
Alright. Looks like we are going to see Hulan head into Turtle Rock. And the hint being its usual self, a unique item is in Ganon's Tower. Woohoo! 27 item locations. I think a unique item's gonna be there.
At this point, that could be the Red Meringue, the Silvers, the Cane of Burner, or the Cape.
It's not the hook shot, because we just found it in Turtle Rock.
Oh, it definitely can't be the hook shot. We need that to beat Swamp to get into Ganon's Tower. Which puts us, if we assume all people can do dark rooms just fine, which puts us in an item and no mode. Since
Yep.
we've seen everything we need, although no individual runner has everything.
I mean, I'm pretty safe calling saltyphry go mode once he gets that hook shot, because, I mean, he's been pretty proficient. Well, Agate 1 Dark Room. I'm not gonna call go mode, because we still have to do that Dark Room.
Yes, we need the lamp to be in logical go mode.
You know, that's the thing about Randomizer. Sometimes rooms that are easy are incredibly hard, and then there's the Chain Chomp room in Turtle Rock that now just has those rope creatures and is a piece of cake.
The Randomizer giveth, and the Randomizer taketh away.
Alright, so now both runners are most likely going to be making their way into Turtle Rock at this point. Well, there's the lamp, so we will for certain have go mode on Saltyphry's end. Which means this is not good for Hulan. For those that may have just joined us, Ice Palace had both the flute and the bow, but the bow was in the hookshot lock portion of Ice Palace. As you can notice, Saltyphry decided to go make sure to do that right side. Julloninja, on the other hand, not.
Yeah, that one decision may cost him what otherwise would have been an extremely close race.
Mm-hmm. Because really, that's the only difference in the race up to this point. Interesting that saltyphry with the hook shot. Oh, okay, I think I know what he's. I think I'll have to ask saltyphry about this in the interview, but I think what he's doing is that having the hook shot. I think saltyphry is going to run all the other dungeons and then set it up to where saltyphry just finishes Turtle Rock and then Hera before going into Ganon's Tower, then Aga 1, then the Big Pig.
It seems quite possible. I mean, personally, I think I still would have cleared out Turtle Rock since I was already inside of there, but...
Yeah, but when it's...
Race, not mine.
Yeah, I mean... With this being the first chest where that was, and now you're in go mode, I can't say for certain I would have done the same thing saltyphry did, but I can certainly appreciate the reasoning behind it. Because at this point, I mean, you already knew you had to go mode Mire again because of Trinex and not having the Fire Rod, but now you just go mode Swamp. You're gonna go mode everything else. It's pretty much... I can see what he's doing. So, but because of that Trinex fight, and because saltyphry didn't go to the vanilla big key chest, he doesn't have the lamp, so he has to do this dark room again.
We'll get to the hardest spot without much trouble. As landing that red block on the switch can be very tricky in the dark.
That anti-fairy on Laser Bridge is also not being very helpful right now. There's kind of a continuing discussion about what saltyphry noping out of Turtle Rock. I gotta be honest. I know Rocky in chat is saying that he'll be checking chests in all these dungeons for the lamp. I don't think so. I think saltyphry is pretty comfortable with his dark. We've seen him pretty proficient with the dark rooms. I don't think he's... If he doesn't find that lamp, I think he's going to be just fine.
Well, I will agree with the person who said it's the same number of Death Mountain climbs either way.
Which is true. I guess my thing on that is, I think that kind of negates whether it was a good move or a bad move, because since it is the same, you would have had to climb Death Mountain again to get the other crystals. Again, tomato, tomato, potato, potato.
Meanwhile, Jullon taking care of a Helmasock King at the end of Turtle Rock. And I'm almost certainly going to head straight to Hera. No doubt hoping to find that bow.
Unfortunately, we know it's in Ice Palace, and Jullon missed it. Alright, but Hulan is gonna have to contemplate what is going on while doing a coffee. Well, I say that, and then he gets bonked off of the block. So, yeah, no coffee break for him today.
Also, fun fact, in Randomizer, the tile room patterns are different.
Mm-hmm. And we have a set of Armos Knights in Desert. And another boss down.
Green Bennett the Salty. We're about to go out and see the Skullwoods clear.
Mm-hmm.
And from there we'll see Swamp Palace, probably Aga 1, then the Death Mountain sequence.
Now, most likely they'll do Aga 1 right before Ganon, because that'll dump you right out at the pyramid to go straight into Ganon.
Okay, I can see that. I can see that working.
Chat asking with the random tile. Oh, the hints. They're so useless.
I missed it. What was it?
The fact that you needed fire to get the big key in Hera. Oh, by the way, it was in the tile in Hera after getting the big key.
You know, the hints never guarantee to be useful. You know, there's some risk reward in taking your time to go check them out.
This is hilarious in the irony. And now we have another seven-eyed Trolldorm. So 2 Butter Slashes and another monster Trolldorm dead.
Yes, all Trolldorms in the same Randomizer seed will have the...
Speaking of which, back to the question in chat. The change in the random tile trap patterns, those are designed. Those are not random.
Yeah, it just picks one from like a list of possibilities.
Ooh. We have another set of Armos Knights in Mothula's lair.
Now, unlike Mafia, these guys do take damage from being bumped into the spikes.
Saltyphry's got to be careful. Only 2.5 hearts left. 2 to go. 1 heart left. You got this, Saltyphry. You got this. Oh!
He doesn't got this.
Press F to pay respects.
They can actually be one of the nastiest bosses to run into in that room if you're not prepared for them.
Alright, so now Hulan is going to head back to Meyer, finish off Trinex there. And then I imagine we'll maybe see or visit the Skullwoods after that, but we'll most likely head for Swamp and hope the bow isn't there. And fortunately, it's not there.
Now Salty has to do this battle without the benefit of having a full thing of arrows. He only has 6 arrows.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt a little bit. Just gonna have to use a butter sword for this. Alright, 3 down, halfway home. There's 4. The last one being a little glitchy, but gonna take some arrows to the face and a right shield for your troubles.
Meanwhile, Hulan going ahead and clearing out Misery Mire.
Saltyphry gonna flute away.
Not going to check the pad. Guess he's already in go mode.
Saltyphry, you... Oh. Yes, going to get a arrow capacity upgrade, which refills his arrows. Nicely done there.
Yes, this place has regained its vanilla capacity. When you're wondering what just happened, that is a new change for V30.
Yep.
They cost as much as they did in vanilla, but you don't have to sit there and toss rupees into the well for like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. I actually didn't really like this at first when I noticed that it happened, but the truth of the matter is that it's not. You can pretty much play this game with the minimum capacity. It's really not that big of a difference.
Yes, and the items that they added to replace the finding the random bow and arrow expansions were the vanilla bombs and arrows that they removed in the first place. So this change did introduce more plus 10 arrow and plus 3 bomb chests.
Alright. I think this dungeon's going to tell us a lot about where Saltyphry thinks he is in the race, because if he just goes right for the boss, he ain't worrying about that lamp. He thinks he's in go mode.
He's in go. He thinks he's in go mode. You already skipped one item.
Yep.
Now, I wouldn't be surprised if he grabs those 2 flooded chests. I usually see players do that, because it's really fast to check them, even if it's just for silvers.
Alright. So Hulan looks like he will be heading for Skullwoods next, and then so he's basically following behind Saltyphry, although we can pretty much assume Hulan, excuse me, sorry about that, Hulan will be going, will be trying to full clear this looking for the bow.
This seems like a reasonable assumption. So we'll see whether my prediction of Saltyphry grabbing these 2 submerged chests in search of silvers is correct.
Nope.
No, he's skipping them. Usually I see players go for that.
I mean, at this point, you've got Blue Mail, you've got Butter Sword, you've got 12 Hearts, you're pretty much good at this point.
And we got us a free Mothula right here.
Blink and you miss it, Mothula's down. So, pretty much, I can call what is gonna happen for saltyphry. He is going to Turtle Rock. He will finish that off. He will then follow that up with Hera. Immediately mirror back to Ganon's tower. Finish that off. Then run Aga 1 and then drop into the pyramid for the big pig.
I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I will say that Julloninja is having a much easier time with this almost fight in Skullwood.
And down he goes. All right. Ooh, we're getting a pedestal pull from Hullon. He's going to be disappointed, though, when he pulls it.
Just a piece of heart.
Alright, so unfortunately now Hullon's probably going to continue on this wild goose chase. While we know that the bow is just in Ice Palace. Hullon was there. That was where the flute was also, but didn't get it. And yeah, saltyphry will not be getting that lamp, so I hope saltyphry has rehearsed his Aga 1 dark rooms, because yeah, he's gonna be having to do Aga 1 in the dark. Gotta say, this race in some ways was kind of linear to start, but the linearity pretty much got you into go mode pretty fast. It's funny how the silhouette Link, being in the Turtle Rock room, you can actually see him because of the outline. Saltyphry was thinking about doing laser bridge and it's like, wait, I'm in go mode. I don't need this. Ooh! Wallmaster denied the Samaria double hit. Lunchbox holding red mail today.
Salty gonna take on his Turtle Rock Helmasaur. Just $20 from the Bombos tablet.
And just like that, Helmasaur is down. And predictably, Hulan is now going to be making his way into Swamp Palace. Alright, so we're just going to mirror here, do a quick coffee break, head up, kill a mutant Troll Dorm, and then make our way into Ganon's Tower.
Meanwhile, we see John is going to full clear the swamp.
Alright, big key acquired. Alright, this should be a pretty quick fight. Hemis85 asking, where was the D? It was in Ice Palace. Along with the bow, saltyphry got both of them. Julon noped out before getting it. That is the difference in this race at this point. And with Trollorm down, we got to do this fast. There are 22 locations where the Ganon's Tower Big Key can be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. If you want to play in our guessing game, you need to put in a number between 1 and 22, having subscribed to one of the 6 speed gaming channels or donated 250 bits. But, oh dear, please be done fast with this because we're just about to get into Ganon's Tower. Lachlan! What'd you guess?
I'm going to go with 17. What is your guess?
You know what? We need some zaniest here. I'm going 22. A couple of you in chat got your guesses in before we actually started the bot, so you may want to make sure you got them in. And saltyphry did an inadvertent mirror, so you may actually get a chance to get those back in there. But now guesses are closed. Alright, chest number 1. Small key number 2. There it is! Well,
nobody guessed number 2.
But, the correct guess was the closest one from a sub or supporter was Max Deuce, so congratulations, you have been added to our leaderboard. And chat pointing out that was pretty much a god Ganon's Tower basement because you get the small key and the big key you need right away, and you're already on your way to the gauntlet.
No, it seems like a very safe guess that saltyphry will not find silver. And
nope.
The unique item in Ganon's Tower
possibly could been. Either way, you got Buttersword, and Silverless Buttersword Ganon is not that difficult to execute.
No, a bit time consuming, but not exactly difficult.
And I think the Randomizer kind of taketh away because you got a lot more enemies you got to deal with here on the conveyor belts this time around.
Yeah, replacing those statues with things you actually have to kill does slow it down.
saltyphry does pretty good there in the third room. Alright, what boss do we have in Lambo 2? We have yet another Helmsar.
So far we have not seen any Lambos or any August. Or Vitreous. Or Blind. So we are most one of those.
It's still Chaos Bus Shuffle. Just because what we've seen before doesn't tell us what could be on Trollorm 2's lair.
I'm saying there's at least 3 of those that we're definitely not going to see.
Oh.
You know, we're only getting at most 1.
Ah, sorry, I misunderstood what you were saying there. My bad.
I should have said it more clearly.
Alright, so Swamp House is done for Hullon. Now, basically, I'm just going to come down to... Predictably, he would have done all of this. Now the question is, at what point does he decide to remember that he's forgotten something in Ice Palace?
That's a tough call to make.
Saltyphry needing to be careful with that Wall Master, but gets it done. Alright, last boss we're going to see before the bosses that aren't enemized. Yet another Helmasaur.
Ganon sure likes these things, doesn't he?
Although this one's going to be a little treacherous, because, Helmasaur is doing his best Trolldorm impression.
He certainly does take up a lot of room.
And Saltyphry gonna now go for bomb strats, which... You know, when I played this game all those years ago as a kid, I always used the bombs. I never realized that you could actually use the hammer to get the shield off.
Funny, I had the exact opposite experience. I never knew you could use bombs.
Although, the bombs are ricocheting off the mask. There we go. Alright, there we go. Got it done.
Skipping even the last chest.
I mean, that is the last possession of usually Trolldorm. Today, Helmasaur. You need to respect property of other people.
Well, he's not going to be able to respect it if he just lets it sit there. He has to take it into his possession to give it the proper respect.
Either way, it's time for the Geometry Wars. Nice double there.
For anyone who doesn't know, when Jullon gets here, he will have exact... At least for his first attempt. In the unlikely event that someone dies to this boss.
And down goes Aga 2 for Saltyphry. Still gotta do Aga 1. So Hullon is unfortunately going back to one dungeon that is not... Oh no, he's turning in the green pendant. All right. Time to ascend the second tower. The second tower, that's the first tower that... I'm just not going to try to explain this one. And the time for... Honestly, the most treacherous dark room in the game, the one's in the Aga Tower.
Well, fortunately, able to see most of the enemies in here. And with the fire odd, we can at least get some.
Yeah, this is true. If you don't have the fire rod, though, they can be quite treacherous in here. And saltyphry does need to be careful with only 3.5 hearts.
I do believe he has more potion if he needs it, though.
Oh! That Lionel certainly won't help. Oh, great. The key rat has migrated from the escape sequence to Aga Tower. How lovely. Wow, this Aga Tower has been helped immensely by the Randomizer. Alright, Lachlan, how many blue balls do you think we're gonna see?
4. We don't have an official guessing game, but if you want to put your guesses...
I believe Aga 1 and Aga 2 patterns follow the same, so I'm gonna say I think it's only gonna be like 1 probably, based on what we saw in Aga 2. Well, there's the 1. Alright, now Julloninja's gonna be making that play for Ice Palace. Not gonna be happy when he sees the bow in there. Alright, there's 2 blue balls. And down goes Aga 1. So there's not a bat that's going to come out of this one, but still it is time for the big pig. We are going to end up doing this silverless, but with Butter Sword, you're going to get through those first 2 phases fast.
Yes, congratulations to Winme for correctly guessing the number of blue ball attacks.
Did we find the arrows in my tower? Nope, because you gave us a god GT, so we didn't bother with it. We're still gonna figure out a way to kill you.
Now, saltyphry does need to watch his magic since he didn't get the torch glitch and he doesn't have the lamp and doesn't have half magic.
He's probably gonna need, yeah, he's gonna chug the potion here. He's making pretty good progress, though. Think he'll have enough magic to finish this off.
Jullon is in go mode.
very begrudgingly, unfortunately, making that mistake on the bow. And frankly, won't matter because saltyphry has Ganon down.
So it was a very clean silverless Ganon.
And with that, saltyphry finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 52 minutes, and 1 second. Spam those GGs in chat. All right, joining us in chat is saltyphry. GG.
Thank you.
So how you feeling after that race?
Pretty good overall. That went really well, I think. Aside from that little issue I had on Armos Nights in Skull Woods there, yeah, that went really well, it feels like.
Yeah, so I have a couple questions for you. Number one, what was the thinking in running the boss before heading to Ice Palace? Or running the boss in Ice Palace and then going back to finish it?
I often kind of do that if I don't have the hook shot or whatever. I'll just kind of go straight to the boss, do the whole kind of bomb jump, and then head to the bottom area, because you'll always end up having an extra key at that point in time to come back and do it at that point in time. So I have a tendency of screwing up bomb jumps, and if you screw it up, then you get in a big issue. So I just kind of keep it simple and tend to go straight to the boss and then head back in a second time usually.
Because that is ultimately what made the difference in the race. Because both you and Hullon did the exact same thing. And unfortunately, Hullon did not go back into Ice Palace and missed the bow.
Ouch, yeah, that would really hurt. Yeah, I was kind of watching a little bit there right at the end, and I noticed he didn't have the bow, and I kind of put that together, and yeah, that kind of sucks, missing that. Like, Ice Palace is kind of tough like that, too, right? Like, it's honestly my least favorite dungeon just because it's a real pain in the ass to route. Like, no matter really what you have, depending on the situation, it's possible to even just get yourself in a situation where you're soft locked and have to reset out because you might not have any keys and be stuck in a certain area if you don't have the hook shot. So lots of weird stuff can happen in there. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of Ice Palace, that's for sure.
I mean, what was interesting about that seed was in a lot of ways it was kind of linear in the way it kind of put you into go mode, but once you were there, you had a bunch of dungeons you could just finish pretty quickly after that.
I guess, like, as long as you didn't really miss the bow, it kind of felt like everything else you'd kind of have to get to sooner or later. Like, I guess you kind of had to go to Ice to get the flute, and you had to go over to Mire to get the mirror, which would then take you up to up to Death Mountain, where you could kind of get everything else that you need, I guess, at that point.
Thing is, the lamp was in the vanilla big key chest, but you certainly had no problem doing the dark rooms.
Which one? Which vanilla big key chest?
Turtle Rock.
Ah, Turtle Rock, yeah.
Speaking of Turtle Rock, I want to ask you, since you're already up there, what made you decide to mirror out what you had the hook shot and then climb back up later to do it?
I was going to be coming back up there anyway, so usually if I find my go mode item in one of the first 3 chests in Turtle Rock, I will leave and go finish all the other dungeons and then come back there. Just because I'm going to be coming back there anyway, and if it's in one of the first 3 chests there, I don't feel like I'm really losing much time since you're right at the entrance anyway at that point in time.
Yeah, there was a bit of a discussion about that in chat in terms of whether that worked out or how they would have done that or not, but I mean, ultimately, like, I kind of end up on your side of, if you do the first 3, you're going to end, especially with it being all dungeons and the way it was laid out, you're going to have to climb Death Mountain anyway, and then end up, so you might as well just go mode Turtle Rock at that point.
Yeah, like, one way or another, you're coming right back up there, like, literally the exact area, so, like, what's the real difference, I kind of figure. Like, in this seed, it probably wouldn't have made any difference one way or another, but in another one, say you have Master Sword at that point in time and you're running around a few other locations, maybe you could upgrade to Tempered by the time you get to Trinex. It could help you out. But obviously when we had Butter Sword, like, what, 17 minutes in or something like that, in this one, that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, it was nuts. As we're seeing Hullon head into Ganon's tower, what did you think about that COD mode GT basement?
Well, I had the exact same thing happen last night in my tourney race, so let's keep that going.
It's really, sorry, my mic accidentally got muted. saltyphry, how you feeling in the tournament overall?
This puts me at 7-1 now, so I gotta feel really good about my position at this point in time. Kind of just been cruising along at this point in time, so I feel like I'm well on my way to making the brackets, but I can't really let up at this point in time because anything can still happen. There's a lot of good players in my group.
Now, these settings were your opponents, correct?
Yes, they were. Yeah, I picked inverted all dungeons hard mode when I picked, so this was his selection.
How are you feeling about the way that the tournament is laid out this time with picking the different modes and having all the different variations?
I'm enjoying the variety, frankly. Like, when I was the #1 seed, so when I was making my picks, I kind of kept it simple. I figured as time goes on, you're gonna get the crazier and crazier races, just naturally. I guess some people will pick it, and once we actually get the random settings, who knows what you might get. So I'm looking forward to it. Like, I'm not one that generally does a lot of the other things, but I kind of like it. It's kind of forced me out of my comfort zone per se. It just kind of forced me to do them one way or another.
It's really also fascinating to watch just as a commentator, because it's, you know, I think in a lot of ways this tournament is upping all our games, because with the runners, you guys have to, you know, obviously figure out the different executions and being able to adapt to the different seeds. But for us commentators, we have to know how to call the different seed modes and what the thinking is and all the different strategies there. So I really like how it kind of is expanding all of our knowledge of how this game is played.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely a learning experience going on for, I imagine, almost everyone involved in this still. Like, I know last night was I was an Randomizer race as well. I'd done a few prior to that, just around throughout the time. But, like, I actually had big issues with the Ice Palace bomb jumps. I didn't realize when there's flying enemies around, they kind of screw up the bomb jump, and basically you can't do it. So I tried for like 5 or 10 minutes and lost a bunch of time trying to do that, and eventually died as well. So that was a big learning experience.
Was it because you were running into the enemy, or was it something else?
No, I don't know what it is exactly, but apparently if there's a flying enemy, it just kind of screws with the values or something like that, and you can't bomb jump around the little pylon or whatever that you got to get around normally.
It also does that if you have the rotating tower enemy, the BMOS.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how it works per se, but I just kind of found that out yesterday per se, because I was trying and trying. I couldn't figure out why. I felt like I was in the perfect position every time to bomb jump, and it kept failing. And eventually I just had to flip the switch and go through and find the big key to get through it. So that's one of those kind of weird quirks about Randomizer, I guess. I guess, like, the game obviously wasn't designed necessarily to have flying enemies around in every room, so I can see how that could throw stuff off, per se.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens when you try to mess around with a version 1.0 of a game that's like 28 years old.
Do you have any other thoughts regarding this particular seed?
That Helmasaur up at Moldorm 2 was a lot of fun. Well, there was a hell of a lot of Helmasaurs just in general in this one. But yeah, that one there in particular, that was quite a challenge. I think I should have just realized to go right to bombs right from the beginning. But I don't know. Yeah, that was definitely an interesting fight there. Yesterday was pretty much all Vitreous, so it was kind of interesting that there wasn't a single one anywhere tonight.
Yeah, we did get a Trinex surprise, though, in Meyer.
That was kind of disappointing, because I ended up having to go through the dark room twice because of that. I went there, and I figured like I could beat every boss at that point in time except for Trinex and Argus, because I didn't have the hook shot and I didn't have the fire rod. But I could have taken down everything else. I figure 80% chance that I can kill this boss, and then sure enough, it's Trinex.
Well, saltyphry, you are more than welcome to stick around with us as we're watching Hullon is in go mode at this point, and just has to finish off that last Helmasaur, and then Aga 1 and Aga 2 in Ganon. So, yeah, again, you are welcome to join us if you'd like to see this race finish out.
I think I'll duck out. I got another race kind of early tomorrow, so I could get to bed and get a little extra sleep, I think.
Well, thank you for joining us tonight, and congratulations on your win.
Thanks a lot. I'll say thanks a lot to you guys for commentating. Thanks to the trackers, the restreamers, everyone involved. And have a good night, everyone.
Alright, Helmasaur down for Hullon.
A vanilla Big 20.
Eh.
Although we did find the cape on the way up. Not that it's that relevant, but...
Nope. Alright, so while we're kind of going over this stuff again, saltyphry mentioned that he did have another race, which is going to be on the main Speed Gaming channel at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be against I Am the Schwartz. Pretty much just an all-dungeon seed. We will have an Uncle Shirt Sword, but other than that, just kind of your basic randomizer seed from there. We will have an Uncle to Shirt Key Sanity seed at 4:30, so it's actually a back-to-back between saltyphry and I Am the Schwartz on the main Speed Gaming channel for both of those races. We're going to have a hard retro old dungeon seed on Speed Gaming 3 at 6:30 between Farime and Fantalis. And then, we got an inverted swordless seed between Andy and Blaine on the main Speed Gaming channel at 7:30.
Oh, swordless.
Oh, that's going to be very interesting to see. So be sure to stick around to the Speed Gaming network of channels, because we are going to have plenty of randomizer action continuing tomorrow. It is interesting to think about what could have been, though, because this, I think you had mentioned it earlier, Lachlan, that these racers were both pretty close. It just that unfortunate incident with the bow kind of was the difference in this race.
Yeah, and I think it would have been really close because, up until that, bow divergence, they were more or less even with each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's also worth pointing out that, in another world, the gamble of skipping that bow location could have paid off, because that is a significant time investment to go in there and check. Meanwhile, Julloninja is close to finishing Aga Tower. We will see another Silverless Ganon fight. The silvers are on one of the remaining 21 item spots in the basement.
Yeah, because it could even be in that GT big chest.
Yep. And for the record, since this is all dungeons, that chest can be required if it holds something required to do one of the 3 pendant dungeons.
Mm-hmm. Because the logic only says you need to get the 7 crystals to get into Ganon's tower, so requirements for pendant dungeons could be locked in GT, which, I mean, is the same in normal randomizer anyway. It's just a matter of because we normally don't need to do the pendant dungeons.
It's just that now it might actually matter.
Mm-hmm.
Although usually those item requirements are going to be along the lines of an ice rod or a medallion.
Alright, Aga 1 down. Big time for Hullon. Now, with Hullon having the lamp as he pulls it out, that's going to make it much easier to get the torch glitch down. And does get it. Normally, you can get 2 sword... well, not normally. You can always get 2 sword spins per cycle.
But with a torch glitch, sometimes you'll get 3.
Just missed there.
Just a few more hits to go.
And there we go. Just need to walk through the door, and Julloninja finishes with an official SRL time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 13 seconds. GG's to Julloninja. And unfortunately, Julloninja is not going to be able to join us for an interview. Had some other things to take care of. But again, props to Julloninja for being able to get that bow and finishing off the race. So that is a very dire scene in Hyrule Castle. The Randomizer credits are always very interesting.
Once again, I'd like to remind people to go ahead, check out these honest channels, give them a follow. They're excellent players.
Yep, we should also give a shout out to our tracker, Itsu Demo. Did a great job of keeping track of all the items, and always pleasure to have her along in any of our races. Lachlan, it was a pleasure having you in the commentary booth tonight.
It was a pleasure serving with you.
All right, so that is going to wrap up shop for us here. For Lachlan and Itsudamo, Julloninja, and saltyphry, I am Jex Reffi. Thank you to the Speed Gaming staff. Thank you to all the volunteers behind the scenes that put this tournament on for all of your viewing pleasure on Twitch. Thanks again for watching. We will see you next mission.
Until next time, take care, everybody.